targeted. It's targeted. They were so cool.
That they love to do here with, see what everybody's up to, you know how it is.
No other name.
Shame on you! British police!
Shame on you!
British police!
Shame on you!
Protecting her third child. Marieha was arrested for carrying a placard with racial aggravation. I want to make it very fruit. Stop arresting fruit. Stop arresting fruit. Stop arresting fruit. Coconut five.
Let them go!
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 The harder they try to put us down, the stronger we become. The stronger we become as individuals, as an organization, as activists, as Muslims, as people standing for the truth. So, as the great scholar said, what can my enemies do to me for my paradise? And my gardens are in my chest. Wherever I go, they do not leave me. فَحَبْسِ خَلْوَةٍ. Imprisoning me is a time for solitude with my Lord. وَقَتْلِ شَهَادَةٍ. And killing me is martyrdom. وَإِخْرَاجِ مِنْ بِلَادِ سِيَاحَةٍ. And throwing me out of my home is tourism. That's tourism, my friends, not terrorism. Now think about this just for a moment. Has anybody got one of the offending items? I.e. the coconut.
Coconut!
Can we see the coconut, please?
Coconut!
The coconut today has become a symbol of resistance. Just like the watermelon today, the coconut has become a symbol of resistance. But a symbol of resistance that ridicules the British police. Really it does. For goodness sake, what is wrong with you? Think about this, my brothers and sisters. Think about this. The International Criminal Court, which is apparently the highest court in the whole of Europe and indeed in the world, today is prosecuting people, Africans, for war crimes. But the International Criminal Court wants to prosecute Netanyahu for war crimes. The International Court of Justice wants to prosecute Israel for genocide. The United Nations has put Israel on its list of nations of shame because of targeting children. And instead of our police standing outside the Israeli embassy prepared to arrest Israeli officials for their roles in war crimes, they're arresting people for carrying coconuts. Literally took coconuts in as evidence. And I'm going to ask, what are you going to do with these coconuts afterwards? What are you going to do? Do you need lunch? Do you need dinner? Do you need some dessert? We'll buy it for you. Just let our coconuts go. Free our coconuts. Let our coconuts go. Say it proud. Let our coconuts go. Say it loud. Say it proud. Let our coconuts go. Say it loud. Say it proud. Let our coconuts go. Say it loud. Say it proud. Let our coconuts go. Stop holding our coconuts. Stop holding our coconuts and let the coconuts go. I can see some of the police officers smiling. I can see some of them smiling. They know how ridiculous this is. What are they going to do when they go back home today and speak to their families today? We detained as evidence some of these coconuts. So we won't be intimidated! We won't be intimidated! We won't stop till liberated! We won't stop till liberated!
I'm just gonna be honest, I woke up this morning quite late to see people outside Magistrates Court being arrested for holding a coconut. This is not about the coconut, nor is it about the police attempting us to stop from the river to the sea. This is not about an item, but is an attempt to stop you from standing with our brothers and sisters in Palestine. It is an attempt to instill fear, to say, brother, you can't even walk out with a coconut, let alone with the Palestinian flag, let alone with the Palestinian scarf, let alone with your fist in the sky saying that Palestinians, as well as every Kashmir has the right to resist. Has the right to resist. This is not about a coconut, but an attempt to instill fear into you, to say that you have no ability to call for the rights of our brothers and sisters in Gaza, grabbing Zionism by the neck. And they will continue to grab Zionism by the neck through every means possible, as long as Israel continues to occupy, as long as Israel continues to maim, as long as Israel continues to steal. The Palestinians have the international right to resist.
Stop arming Israel! Stop arming Israel! Stop arming Israel! Stop killing babies!
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muazzam Beg. I am a senior director at Cage. We're here today outside the police station in Hammersmith, protesting 5 of our colleagues from Cage who've been arrested, essentially for carrying placards that depicted Rishi Sunak and Suella Braverman as coconuts. Earlier on today, they were actually outside the Westminster Magistrates Court, where we were protesting the prosecution of a woman called Marieha, who at the Gaza demonstration was carrying a placard that depicted Rishi Sunak and Suella Braverman as coconuts. So essentially we're here seeking their release and staying here until they are freed. Well, primarily, this is the focus around this is a protest against genocide that's taking place live stream in front of all of us. And so in the backdrop of this, they're arresting people for a satirical application of the freedom of expression. And to arrest people for this is quite unprecedented. And I kid you not when I say they literally took pieces of fruit, coconuts, into custody as evidence. And the remarkable thing will be surely that they'll use these coconuts to try and prove that Rishi Sunak and Suella Braverman are not. And it's beyond ridiculous. For our freedom of speech, it just says once again, the police themselves, they're not sure. They really don't know where the law stands on this. And satire in the land of Britain, of all places, is being criminalized because Muslims are doing it. I'm very confident that the Cage members will get released. I'm also very confident that, as usual, once they arrest members of us, whether we're in Guantanamo or whether we're detained at Schedule 7 at the ports of entry exit in this country, or whether we're just harassed, our profile always goes up, our fundraising goes up, we as an organization get stronger, and the community around us gets stronger in asserting their rights. So I don't see this as anything negative, I've seen it as very positive, and in the end, like all of our oppressors, I thank them for giving us the opportunity to become stronger.
We're staying here! We're staying here!
We're staying here!
We're staying here! We are staying here! We are staying here!
Who's your colleague? I'll speak to my colleague in there.
I'm the senior director of the organization.
I'll give you an update and I'll come see you and but we won't be able to go in there at the moment. Any update?
Can you tell me what she's been arrested?
I don't know any, I haven't been in at all, so I don't know any other information.
Anyone I can ask?
We should be there to make she has legal representation. If she has legal representation, we might be able to speak to them. But without me personally dealing with it, I haven't had any dealings with it. So if I was telling you why she's been arrested, it would be me lying and telling. I don't know. Well, I probably won't be able to see it.
When can somebody
She could probably tell you, she could give you a call. She has your number and stuff. Or if she's got your number in the phone, she can obviously make a phone call. She's got, that's part of her rights while she's in custody. Yeah? Or to her, one of her loved ones.
There's a bunch of us that's been over here today. We've all been saying different things.
Yeah.
How do we know who's going to be arrested and who's not?
I wouldn't be able to possibly comment on that because I don't know what the lady's been arrested for, so I'm not sure.
When was the last time Shazada was on the mic? No?
I've been over there in a bus for the last hour and a half. I've only been here about 2 minutes.
Not necessarily.
I didn't know, as my colleague has just said, we didn't know anything. We didn't know. My colleague just said, we've been sitting in the bus down there. There was a...
One of your seniors.
The officer in charge over there has got the yellow epaulets on.
Can you just do us a favour? Appreciate you've got loads of questions and whatever else, but can you just come down off the top of the steps, please?
Yeah, he's the boss. He's in charge.
A lot easier.
Yeah, guys, come down.
Do you want to explain what's happened?
And these are all my colleagues who have been arrested.
Okay.
So yeah, could you explain to me why?
No, of course I'll explain to you. So, the female that's been arrested, obviously you know the 5 that were arrested earlier at the court, and that's that. This female's been arrested now. She's made some racially aggravated comments while on the loudspeaker. That's been heard by officers, it's been reported by officers, and 2 officers that are of an ethnic minority have taken offence to it. I won't repeat it now, but there's evidence that she's
similar to the kind of language that was used on the
I think so, yeah. So she said that on the megaphone. We're duty bound to act. We've got victims of an offence, 2 police officers. They're still people at the end of the day, and they've taken offence due to the racial comments that have been made, and hence why.
Surely they weren't made to.
It doesn't have to be so. Even if it's said just generally, as people are saying, people, if it's likely within the sight, sound, or hearing of someone that is likely to take, and that's the test, is likely to take offence. That's what's
as an example, I mean, we quoted some poetry from Benjamin Zephaniah, who's a poet laureate, in which he uses that language.
I don't think that would have been the language. Like I said, I won't repeat it, sir, but it'll be for her. I just want to explain to you why she'd been arrested. Obviously, it's her opportunity. She'll have an interview.
What I wanted to understand, because there's a few of us who've been making comments that are in that vein.
Yeah. The thing is, we're always balancing free speech.
So we're trying to understand, are we next? Are we going to be arrested also?
I think what other people have been saying hasn't been offensive. We've been listening, with any protest, we listen, we balance right, there's no absolute right to free speech. We balance people's right to assembly, freedom of thought. We balance that against is a criminal offence being committed, and are there victims? Has anyone taken objection to that? And that's the situation we're in. In this case, it's fallen this side of it. Things that, such as you were saying and other people saying, I didn't hear anything that was on the side of being a criminal offence. But if there's a criminal offence, process or not, you have to act.
The problem is understanding. I think, isn't there a confusion about what is the law? Is it a criminal offence?
No, I think with using the coconut expression is what's caused it, and then using it as in the pejorative, as an offence, is what's caused this.
Right, so if I was to say I used it by quoting the poetry of Benjamin Zephaniah, in which he says, he uses the word coconut, and he juxtaposes to the word open tongue. Is that a criminal offence?
And that's not what I heard. And like I said, I just take advice on it from a set of colleagues that are responsible for that. We've taken advice. The thing is, there is always sometimes I've got each side. She's got to explain herself. She'll have an interview, and then it will be up to the Crown Prosecution Service to decide if a criminal offence has been committed. It's not for us to decide. We'll investigate it, present that to the Crown Prosecution Service, and they'll make a decision.
You're arresting people for things. If you just kind of balance it up, you're arresting people and taking fruit into custody.
I won't get drawn into the early one. I wasn't at the early one, but I think what we had there was quite clearly things being used to denote racial an anti-racial idea, wasn't there? There was coconuts with faces on them, and it was quite clearly meant to be Rishi Sunak as well as government. Like, I won't get to you, but these were racially offensive things, and hence why they've got to account for that. They get to tell their side story in an interview, and the Crown Prosecution Service make a decision, don't they? And that's where we're at.
But you see, the problem with this now is that the way our communities interpret it is because there are many people from white middle England who've made videos, for example, of TikTok videos depicting Saleh, for example, as a Zionist elf with a Jewish Star of David. I can send that in to you. I can rest assured that those people who made it will not be arrested because they're white, middle class, British people singing the song in a way and depicting Saleh and something that's very offensive.
I'd like to assure you we try and do it as equitable as possible. We're not policing different communities differently. But the thing, it might feel like this, and obviously we've got to address that part. From my point of view, that's not. I don't make that consideration. If I'm in a command event and I'm saying, okay, whether I'm dealing with a left-wing protest or right-wing protest, one that's Palestine, one that might be a Israel one, I'm
treating everyone equally, if that's what I'm meaning. I can't speak to how it feels on the part of your community, so I don't know how it feels. But I can say that from our police perspective, we do police it equitably across all communities. I'm not saying you don't feel that way. I'm just saying from my point of view. I mean, I've got two officers that have taken offence, a black officer and an Asian officer. They said they were offended by that, which meant that people walking through there probably would have been offended as well, wouldn't they? And we're here in just an afternoon in one of the middle London areas that loads of people walking through could have taken offence. So, yeah.
It's not directed at any individual.
And okay, it doesn't need to be, even if you trick someone else's expense, that's the case. But anyway, I hope I've kind of half answered your question, sir, and like I said, it'll be for her to have that discussion with detectives afterwards. Okay.
Right now, all of us who spoke said things from a similar way. We're speaking from the same
from the information I got, it was only her.
What I'm sensing is that at any moment, anybody here could get arrested. And that doesn't bode well for how you are, because I'm actually quite concerned that I'm going to be arrested. I'm sure some other people over here will be concerned that they're going to get arrested.
If you're unsure about what you're saying, you speak to us and say that there's actually a crime if I were to announce this megaphone. We'll be able to give. We won't say normally yes or no, because the context is important. But and we're not saying North Korea, mate. No, we're not saying we need to vet everything you say. But if you're saying you're saying you think you're quite close to the line in regards to this, then speak to us. She stepped over the line, in our opinion, but we need to then take a view on it. So I hope I answered it. My colleague's trying to get my attention because of something else, but I hope that's made it. Okay, right, take care.
My brothers and sisters, can I just get your attention? I've just spoken to the police after the arrest of our sister Shazana, so there are now 6 people in custody, all from our organisation.
Shame!
Shame on you! I just want to say something. Guys, I just want to say something just about who we are as an organisation so you get completely what we're about. We're an organisation that was born out of the dungeons and the torture camps of the United States of America in Bagram and Guantanamo Bay. That's how this organisation was born. It was born campaigning not against this type of detention, but detention without trial, torture, kidnap, cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment. That's who we are. That's what our bread and butter is. When somebody gets released after 20 years of imprisonment, that's for us a victory. We're in it for the long run, and we always have been, and inshallah we always will be. So when we're campaigning and fighting for the rights of the Palestinians to defend themselves against occupation, which is a right established in Islamic law, in international law, and even the law of the jungle. And when our state descends upon us through its executive arm of the police, to imprison our activists and our members, what happens to us is what happens when the Quranic verse describes the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the companions with him, فَزَادُهُمْ إِيمَانًا وَعَلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ, that their faith becomes even stronger and they have reliance on their Lord. And that is why it's impossible for you guys over there in your uniforms to break us. You cannot break us. You don't know what we're made of and what we've gone through. You have no idea. They've taken a sister, one of the pillars of the Cage community, in addition to the 5 other brothers. And I'm sure, and I know, she's more than enough to match the entirety of this police station by herself. But we're not leaving from here until we get answers. The police have spoken to us. They have tried to justify what's taking place and say that this is now all about racially aggravated language to which some people have taken offense. But let me tell you something, I'm saying again. You guys, the police officers who took offense at the language, have you ever thought about standing outside the Israeli embassy and arresting those, forget the language, arresting those who are carrying out genocide according to the International Criminal Court? Shame on you! Have you ever considered standing outside outside the Israeli embassy and speaking to your superiors and saying, guys, why are we arresting people for depicting politicians as coconuts when we should be arresting those people involved in genocide, which is the worst crime anyone can commit? Why are you standing by and doing nothing? Shame on you. You take offense. You take offense. You take offense at a few words, at one word. But you don't take offense at 45,000 people killed, of which 15,000 are children. You take no offense there. The United Nations has just this week, just this month, listed Israel as a country as part of its list of shame for its targeting of children, and you say nothing as police officers. There is universal jurisdiction for arresting people involved in war crimes, and you do nothing except arresting those who protest the genocide. Ya Allah, Ya Allah intaqim minkum. May Allah intaqim minkum. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hold you to account. May He hold you to account. May He hold you to account.
Sold your soul to the devil!
Free the coconut sex!
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 Free the coconut sex! Free
Palestine!
Free
Palestine!
Free
Palestine!
from the river to the sea! The great scholar once again, ماذا يصنع أعدائي بي فجنتي ببستاني في صدري أينما رحت لا تفارقني. What can my enemies do to me, for my paradise and my garden are in my chest? Wherever I go, they do not leave me. فحبسي خلوة وقتلي شهادة وإخراجي من بلادي سياحة. And imprisoning me is time for solitude with my Lord. And killing me is martyrdom, and throwing me out of my home is tourism. This is what we're made of. This is who we are, and this is why I swear by Allah, who created us all, that you will not break our resolve. You will only make Cage stronger as a voice, as an organization, and as a struggle for the rights of the Palestinians and the Muslims and anybody who's oppressed. You will make us stronger. So thank you, police. Arrest more of us. We're all ready. We're all ready. We're all ready to be arrested against oppression. Let me say a word that will frighten you even further. The Prophet ﷺ said, أفضل الجهاد كلمة حق عند سلطان الجائر. The best of jihad is speaking a word of truth in front of an oppressive leader. You are working for an oppressive leader, so speaking a word of truth against you is the best of jihad. Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!